Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. I do have a little bit of a cold, so I have got a croaky throat. You'll just have to bear with me. But let's get into it. So DXY on the daily, nothing's changed except we do have a lower low here, like I've mentioned over the last couple of weeks. We are only looking for buys, even if it's just for like an A, B, C. So looking for at least a C up in here. And then possibly more downside, or it just goes from here, and this over here is the low, or sorry, this here is the low. Really, there's already been the entry for this. um there was a couple on the lower time frames. There was one in here, or you may have got onto a larger one here for like 1, 2, 3. You still may be able to buy, just scalping on the lower time frames. But yeah, it didn't really go far. I'll just put a fib on this. So we got to that 100 fib and it's bounced off. So it may be just the 3 up already, and then we come down and break the low. So you will have to be careful with the buy now. AU, this, I was looking for more upside here on the daily, possibly up to that 100 fib. We did get an A, B, C here. We got bearish divergence there. So, is this the top here and we go down and break the low? Well, that's definitely possible. I would have liked to see a little bit more upside in it. It's still a buy at this stage. We do have a bull hidden here. There's a bull hidden here. So there still is a chance that we get another higher high here. You may even get an entry on the lower time frames now, because we do have 3 down on the H1. We have like 1, 2, 3 down. But the thing I don't like is we don't have any divergence. So you got to be very careful there. So this could really go either way. It could give us more downside. We get some sort of a flat here on the lower time frame and give us more downside, or we get a buy setup. There's a couple of ways we could get a buy setup. If we break this top here and then get a correction, well, that'll definitely give us a buy setup. Or, on the lower time frames, we may be able to get something here. On the M15, we got an impulse up. If we get a correction in here, you could look for at least 3 up. It's more scalping, because more than likely it's just 3 up here, and then more downside. But you never know. Like I just mentioned, it may take off from here with that bull hidden on the H4. It may take off from here. So you may be able to trade it both ways. You'd have to be careful of this flat here too, though. So you want a nice correction in here on the lower time frames, and then a buy setup before you buy. GU hasn't really played out either. Well, it has. Like we were looking at an A, B, C, and I was looking for a little bit more upside, possibly up to that 100 fib. But no, it didn't go all that far. I was actually looking for this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was looking for 5 up in there, but it didn't go. It didn't even get to this 100 fib here, this wave C, and it's fallen over. So it's a sell setup. We're looking for a sell setup basically, and there already was one last week, last daily outlook, or the one before that. It was probably the one before that actually, when we had this nice impulse down here and we had this correction in here. that was your opportunity to sell. Again, we don't have any bullish divergence here on the H1, so we still can get more downside. I'll quickly go down on the M15, or M30 rather. We'll have a bear hidden here. So we sort of have a bear hidden here. So, again, this can still give us another lower low. So if you're looking for the buys, you've got to be careful still. There's no sign of a trend reversal at this stage. So EU, we got this. We got a nice C up on this one. We got that A, B, C right up to the 100 fib, and we bounced off of it. We're looking for the sells. This one actually last week gave us that bull hidden here. It was quite difficult, this one, because we had a bull hidden here between this low and this low. So we had a bull hidden there. So this was possible that go up and break the top. It didn't. It was like many of the others, and it just gave it A, B, C down at this stage. Again, there is no bullish divergence. So more than likely, there's more downside. We may get something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we may get another correction here, similar size to that, and then you could look for a sell. We may even get a bear hidden in here, which would give me even more confidence to get into a sell after we get the time factor of the first correction in the second correction. NU, really disappointed with this one. I thought this one was going to give us a lot more upside here. It didn't. I'm looking for that A, B, C. It never went. We got a nice impulse up here. We even got the 335 on the lower time frame, and it just never went. I'll go over that 335. We had that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was really hoping this would go after a complete correction here. It never did. And now we've broken the low again. So it becomes very difficult. We still are. I mean, I'm still rather bullish because this impulse here come from the low, and we are still within this impulse. So, this is very choppy, breaking the top. So I'd be looking at a running or expanding flat here still. But yeah, very disappointed in this one. It just didn't go. At this stage, I'd be leaving it alone unless you could scalp a short, get a correction in here. You could scalp a short, but it's really just scalping within this wave here or this impulse here. So yeah, quite dangerous. Yeah. GY, pretty much leaving this alone now. We're right up the top here. We already got the ABC. We got an ABC here. It still can get up to that 100 fib, like I've mentioned many, many, many times. But eventually, I'm looking for an A, a B, and a C. I'm more interested in a C down now. H4, we got all this bearish divergence. H1 is the same. We got all this bearish divergence. Yep, I'm just pretty much waiting for a sell setup. We did have a nice impulse down from the top. It's already given us 3 down, breaking that low there. So it makes it difficult now because we already have 3 down, and now it's sort of going up. So ideally, it breaks the top again, gives us a lower low, a lower low and a correction. And then I could look for a sell. I'm only looking for the sells. So until something like this happens, a higher high, a correction, an impulse down, correction, and a sell set up, then I'll look to sell it. Other than that, I'm staying out of it. Same with UY on the daily. I'm pretty much staying out of this. Whatever's happening in here looks very corrective to me. I'll be at least looking for some sort of A, B, C here before we get A, B, C, larger, flat. and then possibly an A, B, C before we get more upside. So, you know, we're in a really large correction here. We were looking for this last week. You know, this just for a C up here. It's already played out. So again, unless you're on it, there's really not much you can do. I mean, you can try and add here with a correction here and add, but it's really just scalping because I haven't changed my count yet, but I'll probably have to change this to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're better off to wait for a wave 4 and then trade a wave 5 up than to try and scalp at the top of the wave. This may be right at the top of the 100 fib here. I'll just put the fib on it. There's not much to go up to the 100 fib. So, you know, if you're looking to scalp, I'd be scalping up to the 100 fib here, and watching the price action very carefully because, yeah, and even taking half off. Because, yeah, it may just give us 3 up and then fall over. So, yeah, there's not much you can do on that at this stage unless you're just scalping. CAD, whatever's happening in here, I'm looking as corrective for another one down. Very similar to UY that I just went over, you know. I'm pretty much rolling out this, like, I was looking for a 1, 2, 3, a wave 4 and a wave 5 up. But if you've been following me for a long time, I've been saying we're waiting for this time factor here, and we still haven't got that time factor yet. So, you know, it may give us a correction in here. Another one down. It can't break this, the ending point of this wave 2. It can't break that. Or else we definitely won't be getting a wave 5 up. But it may just give us a correction here. Another lower low, just breaking that low, not breaking this one, and then get a wave 5 up. But yeah, at this stage, I mean, there was a buy on this too, but, you know, very difficult buy. I was looking for these 5 up here. It didn't play out exactly how I was looking for, but we got a higher high. I was looking at that WXY, X2, and a Z up from here. It didn't go. It come back down and then went, you know. But again, whatever's happening in here, I'm looking at corrective. It looks very corrective to me. So I can only look at it as corrective. All this. But yeah, the only thing you could do now is go with this trend, which is, you know, quite choppy, but you could look for a correction in here, and look for a buy setup and buy just to break the top. It's basically scalping. The Swissy, I'm not convinced that this is the low still. I'm looking at that A, B, C. We may get down to this 100 fib here still. The H4 didn't really, well, it played out how I was looking at it. I was looking at a 333 or 335. We got like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I was looking for a possible 4 and a wave 5 up in here. We only got a 333, and now it's gone and broken the low. But the problem is it's so choppy that this looks corrective breaking the low. So we may just get, you know, an impulse up in here and then more downside. So you got to be very careful. I did show my trade that I brought last week on this. It was down in here on the lower time frames, of course. I got into a buy down here, and also got into a second buy in here last week. Well, this week, earlier this week, got into a buy around here for more upside. So I'm still bullish on this. Yeah, I'm still bullish on this at this stage. It's not really going very far as I'd like. I think we'll get a little bit more upside. We'll have to watch this 100 fib here. I mean, you could look to scalp this, a buy here. And you, like I said, you'll have to watch this 100 fib here. We don't have any bearish divergence there. But yeah, we may get a correction this size over here and a bull hidden, possibly. But yeah, I'm pretty much just holding the trades that I've got, and yeah, I won't be adding here because I already have 2 trades on it. EG, I would be leaving it alone, like I've been saying for the last, well, ever since we had this wave 5 up. I've been saying we've got to wait for a larger correction than this and this. So I'm really waiting for a larger correction before I, trade this again. Other than that, you're just scalping. Like we were looking for another wave up in here. We're looking at that WXY and X2, and then get a Z up here. That Z up has gone a little bit further than I would have thought, but I'm still looking at the correct. I'd be more interested in a sell. If I quickly go down to the lower time frame, we may actually get something here. No, we're not going to. No. Yeah. I mean, we have broken this low here, over here, but yeah, it's more of a like 1, 2, 3. You get a wave 4 and a wave 5 down, so it really is scalping, and yeah, I'd be waiting for the larger daily correction and then buying. We got the 5 up on the daily, so wait for the correction and buy. WTI, really confusing where this is going. I would really love to see this come down and break this low here, because then I can load up on the buys with a lot more confidence than looking for a buy here. It didn't go, we were looking at this to give possibly 5 down here to break the low. It didn't. It only gave us 3 down, and then it gave another little correction and then another one down. I mean, you can only look to buy this at this stage on the lower time frames. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't like it, because this is the low over here, not this or this. So this is some sort of a very large correction. A 1, 2, 3. Either way, you'd have to wait for another large correction, and then you could look for a buy. Very risky. I would be staying out of it unless you're just scalping on the lower time frames. I'd be stay. There's no long-term trade on it. It can really go either way still. Gold keeps on going up here. We're in this. Well, I was looking for a wave 4 here, but we didn't even get that. We got the 5 up now. On the H4, we got the 5 up. We got that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the bearish divergence. I would be staying out of it now, and we need a larger correction. If we got a larger correction, then we could look for another 5 up. But until that happened, I'd be very careful trading this until we got a larger correction. Same with silver. It's virtually the same. You know, um, you know, this is really taking off in here. We had the 5 up here, larger correction, and we're getting another impulse up. I've got it as an A wave, this one. So really, we need a B wave, and then we can trade a C up. Before unless you're just scalping up the top here. Uh, Even H4. Well, this is. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're pretty much losing that bearish divergence here, so I'd expect a larger correction and more upside on this one, because yeah, we lost that divergence in the wave 5. I'll just double check that, make sure. Yeah, we are losing. Well, we have lost the divergence, bearish divergence in this wave 5. So yeah, I'd be waiting for a larger correction and buying. unless you're just scalping up the top here, which is extremely dangerous at this stage. There was opportunities to buy this. If you've missed them, well, you don't go buying up the top. So Bitcoin's pretty much doing what we're looking at. We had the 5 up on the daily, larger correction, and we got more upside. We end up getting a lot of bearish divergence in here. H4 is what we're looking at. We've been looking at this flat here for a very long time, and it's playing out, as you can see. We're getting this C down, so you're either on it or you're not at this stage. Unless you're just scalping on the lower time frames. I mean, this here, you could look to sell. We don't have any bullish divergence, so it looks very corrective. So if you get a sell set up, you could look to sell. It's only just scalping, though. You got to get it to break even, and even as soon as you start to see it reverse, you got to start taking half off. Yeah, it's really just scalping now. So get this C down. Once we get this C down, then we can start to look for buys. But at this stage, I'd still be looking for sells. S&P 500, I'd be pretty much leaving this alone too. We're right at the top. H4, we got bearish divergence. H1, we got bearish divergence. We got an impulse down here now. But the problem is, we got a impulse down in here. But the problem is we haven't broken that low, and there is a bull hidden here. So this can go up and break the top still. There's no reversal yet. There's no signs of reversal because we still had that bull hidden. So there's no reversal, sign of a reversal. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes up and breaks the top. You could scalp it to break the top, and then I'd be more interested in a sell. I'd be more interested in it goes up, breaks the top, and then comes down, gives us a nice lower low, and then a nice correction for a sell. I'm more interested in a sell at these levels. Eventually, this will fall over. It's just a matter of time. It'll fall over. AU 200, nothing really to see here. We've gone up, broken the top. This is on the higher time frame. If you want to see that, go back through my videos. I show the higher time frame. It's really nothing. We were looking for the sell here, right over here. We had that impulse down, 3 up in here for the sell. It's still looking very much bearish, but yeah, you pretty much missed the sell. I always like to get onto the first one and then add to the first one. If I miss the first one, well, it makes it very difficult. We're getting bullish divergence in here. So, yeah, be very careful. I'd be staying out of it. The same with the FTSE. We're right up the top here on the daily. There's nothing you can do until we get that correction. We got a nice impulse up, wait for the B wave, and look, then you can look for buys. Until that happens, you're just scalping up the top here. And it's the same with the DAX as well. We're right up the top. Again, we've got a nice impulse up. We've got to wait for a correction, and then we can look for a buy. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook and got something out of it. If you did, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.